Hey, what's going on? Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com. That's John Caban playing a brand new Goodsell amp that's, what, 5 days old? Richard, I've got the man himself here.
Yeah,
Richard, what's the dealio with this amp?
The ink's still wet on it, I think, Joe. Yeah, I built that amp just for this show. It began life as a 33 Custom, and I thought, well, what if we just take the front end of the Black Dog 50 and put it on, much like we did with the 20, put it on to the existing 33 frame, add a solid-state rectifier and NOS 7189s, and presto, we've got a monster on our hands.
So how would you describe this tonal-wise? Like what range or between this and that? What is it in a nutshell?
Well, unlike the 50, it's fundamentally an EL84 amp. Even though it's 7189s, it's going to skew an EL84 type of personality. So it's going to cover kind of the Voxy range. But with this particular front end on it, it's like the 50 that went before it. It's designed to appeal to some of our Plexi friends out there. So it'll do a little Plexi, it'll do a little AC30, but it cleans up like a Pro Reverb. So it's not trying to be all things to all people, but it's a very versatile combo for what it is.
Okay. Well, let's give it a ride. John, you want to start off with some Plexi tones?
Sure. This is with the boost engaged, and the gain is about 2 o'clock, and we're about a little past halfway up.
I'm hoping we can capture this for you guys. We've got a 57 on the cab here, and it's a small hotel room, which is the great thing about the New York Amp Show. You show up with your guitar, and you go from room to room, and you plug in, and you check out these amps. So not ideal recording conditions, but we're going to do our best to bring it to you. I can tell you from what I'm hearing, it's meaty. I mean, it's thick. It sounds really great. What do you think of this amp, man?
I'm really loving it, just the whole concept of being able to go from a chimey that simply, and then to be able to just step on the boost and add 20 dBs of gain, lose the tone stack. The treble control is still active, so you can roll off. If you have a bright guitar, you can still roll off some of the shimmer you don't want, but it just gives you, cojones. And there's only one channel, one simple channel with two gain stages,
two gain stages on either end of the one before the tone stack and one after. And what the foot switch does is it bridges the tone stack so that the first gain stage is shooting straight into the second, and that's where you pick up the extra dB, what would ordinarily be lost from the tone stack.
And there's no extra channels and extra tubes and just mucky muck getting in the way of your guitar to the speakers. It just keeps it really, really simple and hi-fi in that way, where it's just the simplest, shortest, distance between 2 points is just the wiring that it goes through the simple circuitry. But with a volume knob on the guitar, and it also loves pedals. All of them love pedals. And I have a small, modest pedal board that I use in the city, but it allows me to capture the tones I need to get right there, and the amp cleans up super nice. And right now we have the volume at the gain about 2 o'clock, but you bring the gain down to 9, and it's like it's like a Pro Reverb. The Diamond, it's more like getting into high gain saturated sounds, and this is sort of like in the midst of a Plexi meets JMC 800 type of vibe. but it captures so many great things, and really you can do so much with so little. You don't have to keep looking back at the amp, but you can do scooped mid stuff with the tone controls. It's just super alive and active. And there's also, this one has reverb. All the combos come with reverb, so it gets a really spongy, it's not a sproing Fender reverb. It's really a warm, almost sounds like a delay. If the gain's down, it's you can hear it.
By the way, some people are going to be watching this and wondering what the heck you're playing. Go ahead and talk about your guitar for a second. So,
This is a 57 special, not all original as you can see, that I got about 10 years ago from my hometown music shop. And
stock pickups, though, right?
Stock pickups. All the electronics are all original. The neck headstock broke off. It was re-glued on, and I put the vintage style tuners on it, and the guy who did the refretting for me stripped the body down because it was a horrible refin, so it went back to natural. And another friend of mine did this, which is a African ebony puck he created because some guy had put, you can see the markers, put like a metal piece on there. It was pretty god-awful ugly, but brought it back to some sort of a semblance of beautiful.
So, Richard, what are your thoughts here? This thing's 5 days old. You know, you're hearing John put it through the paces. I know you're a tweaker and you continually go back and change things. You know, what are you thinking as you hear this thing here today?
I don't know that I'm going to do anything differently with that 40. It tickles me the same way this 20 does over here. It just reinforces my belief that EL84 platform is just, you know, my home base as a starting point. It's just, I mean, I didn't know how good that amp sounded till I had John play it because I'm lame right now. And this is really the first time I'm hearing this amp do everything it's capable of doing. I mean, we just finished it and stuck it in a box and shipped it here, and here we are. So I'm discovering it in real time, and I like it.
Well, thanks for letting us in on this. Say somebody's digging what they hear and they want to find out more. Is this on the website yet?
It's not on. There's actually a small paragraph on the website that mentions it, and in the wake of this show, I hope to have some more stuff up there shortly. But it's www.goodsellamps.com. And keep checking the website, but I would imagine we're just a couple of days away from having more information on the 40 and the other Black Dogs.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Joe Coffey. You're watching PremierGuitar.com.